As much as I want to rant and cry about everything the Knicks did to lose that game 5 last night, I also got to give all the credit in the world to Tyrese Maxey for everything he did to help Philly steal that game, because it was literally just him. I mean, you can't convince me that the NBA scriptwriters didn't write that script in the darkest, most permanent ink, where it just, like, everything just looked like it made so much sense, where the Knicks were going to win another hard-fought game, and it's a classic Knicks win where they're just grittier and tougher, and it's another classic Joel Embiid flameout, and there was going to be parties on 7th Avenue, where it's this euphoric win for the Knicks because of everything they've had to deal with in the 2-seed drama over the 7th seed, and we're all going to clown Embiid and question Embiid for everything he didn't do, and it made so much sense as a finish to this series. And yet, you can't convince me that Tyrese Maxey didn't read that script and just be like, nah. Like, but it's written in permanent ink. Nah. Like, he literally didn't care. I mean, 7 points in the final 25 seconds. Like, that's the thing. Like, as much as I'm annoyed about what the Knicks should have done, obviously don't foul a 3-point shooter, but like for Tyrese Maxey to make that shot, and then as annoyed as I am that the Knicks didn't foul up 3, I think they should have fouled Maxey before he even crossed half court. But you also have to give Tyrese Maxey all the credit in the world for, fully knowing that the second he crossed half court, they were going to try and foul him. So what does he do? He literally, the second he crosses half court, he just pulls up from the logo. Like, it's like I can only be so mad about it because, like, you look at Mitch, and Mitch is standing at the 3-point line. He's ready to defend the 3-point line, and Mitch is a long guy. And, like, Tyrese actually just pulls up from so far beyond the arc and just swishes it. It was one of the most incredible finishes ever. Where, like, you talk about 46 points, 9 assists in an elimination game in the Garden, 7 points in the final 25 seconds to literally save this season for the Sixers. And it just, like, I imagine it's also insanely refreshing for Sixers fans. It's pretty refreshing in general from the standpoint of, Joel Embiid has had a lot of playoff flameouts, like a lot of these performances, and he had another one, 7 of 19 for 19 points with 9 turnovers. He's had a lot of those in elimination games, but he somehow skirted by a lot of criticism because his co-stars have had bad performances in those same games, and usually it's those guys who wind up getting the criticism, like the Ben Simmons in the famous Game 7 against Atlanta, James Harden last year against Boston. So, like, usually the two go hand in hand, where Embiid and the co-star struggle, but Embiid sort of ducks the criticism. But it was so refreshing to see the co-star, instead of wilting with Embiid as he shrinks in the moment again, and even if you want to say, it's because of injuries, whatever, but like, he shrank. He was really bad, couldn't make a pass out of a double team. It was really, really bad, which is even more annoying than the Knicks lost that game. But it was so kind of cool to see that, the co-star stepped up. He didn't say, okay, like, if Embiid's not going, we're just going to lose, which is not to say that's what Simmons or Harden did, but, like, it was cool to see the co-star rise to the moment and drag Embiid and co across the finish line to win this game that they just really shouldn't have won. I mean, 46, like 7 of 12 on threes. It was one of those performances that you're watching, and me personally, every time Tyrese Maxey shot it, I thought it was going in. Every single time, whether it was like off the dribble, mid-range, like pull up from 3, it was so impressive and just further, nails home that point where, like, it really feels like Tyrese Maxey is that guy. Like, he is that co-star where Ben Simmons couldn't carry the load when Embiid struggled, when Harden couldn't do it, Tyrese Maxey was there, and in a very similar scenario to the one Simmons has faced, the one Harden has faced, he stepped up in the moment to drag the Sixers across the finish line. And so, again, we could talk a lot about everything the Knicks didn't do. Don't foul, don't foul on a 3-point shot, hit your free throws, and then obviously foul before he gets across half court. You could also argue Tom Thibodeau should have called the timeout so they could get up an actual play. And then even in overtime, the Knicks were up 5 to start overtime. It was, like, as much as I want to focus on that stuff and talk about that stuff, I might be a big Knicks fan, but I'm also a big NBA fan, and I have to give so much credit to Tyrese Maxey because he literally, when we talk about games, it's always a lot of did this team win it or did this team lose it? So it's like, did the Knicks lose this game or did the Sixers win it? Well, the Knicks left the door open, and Tyrese Maxey walked right through it and snatched that victory in just one of the most insane, chaotic endings I've ever seen, ever. And as upset as it makes me as a Knicks fan, it was still wildly impressive and just so cool to see.